Hey y'all, welcome to Life with Annie. We're doing something a little bit different today. I'm pouring me some water for one thing. We're outside. It is gorgeous here in South Carolina. I think it's like in the upper 70s. I'm not sure exactly what it's supposed to get to today, but either way, it's really nice. So this is the third time I've tried to do this video because I was doing it. I was well into it earlier. And the people next door, they were having their yard mowed, so that's okay because I'm excited. That means spring is here, or not here, it's on its way, but we've had some really mild temperatures lately, so I'm excited to be out here in the sun. So what this is about, remember when I went to the Dollar Tree a while back and I showed y'all this little book and the little pen? I had this kind of idea I wanted to do. So I get a lot of questions and comments on my videos, and it's just really hard to go through and answer each one of them, and I feel bad because if I answer one, if I don't answer another one. But anyway, I thought I would try to remedy that by going back and do like a monthly review or a let's look back or something like that. I forget, I don't know what I'll name it. But this is going to be for the month of February, and I went back and I played, I kind of read some of the comments from some of the videos, and I just pulled a few, and I thought I would just answer them. Some of you asked the same questions, so I will say the first name of the person or people who asked the comments. I won't get everybody in there, and I'm not putting last names or anything like that. So we're going to try and see how it works, see if it's something that y'all are interested in. It's like an overview or a look back at the month. So here's the first one for February. So I wrote down a few questions or comments that I saw. This was the very first video of the month. Is where I made the chicken parm. And I just kind of made the chicken parm just from, I don't think I really followed a recipe. I just had some boneless, skinless chicken breasts, put some marinara sauce, some cheese. I think I had some mushrooms or something on them, underneath them. They were really good. But Anne asked, is Rayo sauce better than Prego or Ragu, and is it worth it? To me, it is for a couple of reasons. I had always used Ragu my entire life, but when I made Ragu spaghetti sauce, I enhanced it with like canned tomatoes, different spices, beef broth, stuff like that, and it just got to where I just didn't care for the taste of the Ragu anymore. So I was kind of making it, doing it from scratch, which that's good too, but when I was working, it was just hard, to come home and do all that. So I just had seen some recommendations of the Rayos. Now, it is a little pricey, but it's not like we eat spaghetti that often. So if you eat spaghetti once a week, it might be a little bit more than you want to spend. It's the jar of marinara that I get, and I get it at Walmart. They have different flavors, is I think close to $7, 6 something. But to me, it's worth it because I like the flavor, and it's one of the brands that Matt can have on his, he's not losing weight anymore, but he's maintaining. So that's a brand he can have. So for 2 reasons, we like it, and it's good. It's something that Matt can have. So I think it's worth it for us. So yeah, that answers that question. And then Tammy asked what temperature and time on that. Well, since it wasn't a specific recipe, I usually just bake everything in my oven at 350 when it's just some kind of meat that I'm making. But always with chicken especially, these were smaller, boneless, skinless chicken breasts. Just make sure when cut into it, just make sure the juices run clear, it's not pink. And you can use a thermometer if you want to. But you really want that chicken to be completely done. So ours were in little foil packets. So I think it was probably 45 minutes at the most. Just keep checking it, and just make sure that chicken is completely done. Okay, the next video was salad for supper, where I made the fancy salads. Shirley wanted to know, where did I find the pickled onions? I got those at Walmart. It's a name brand. I can't remember the name. But I think it's over where the pickles, the olives, things like that are. It was up on a higher shelf. But they're really good. They have a tart but a sweet taste to them, and I really like them. So that's where I got those. And then Wilma said she wasn't getting notifications. Wilma, if you just go to my page, make sure you're still following. Make sure you have notifications turned on. I'm not a very tech-savvy person. So when I don't get notifications for some things, I'll just go to whatever page and just check in from time to time and make sure that my camera's getting dark. So I hope that this is the third time that it's going to be okay. The sound is clear now. There's no mowers in the background. So just check that. Make sure that all that's good. And if not, just check the page and see if you've missed anything. Kathy said, please go on YouTube. Well, Kathy, I would. I do have a YouTube page that I started in 2016, but we didn't do much with it at the time. I was thinking about going back on there, and that's when I found another page. Someone has taken my videos, my pictures, and they're saying that their life with Annie. They started that page in 2022, and I just don't want people to get confused with who's the actual page. I've reported it, but sometimes when you report things to YouTube, Facebook, nothing really happens to the people that are doing that. So I just choosing not to do that now. And it's a sad state of affairs, but that's the way it is. Okay, so then Dollar Tree, the video was the Dollar Tree, plants, and pets. Patricia wanted to know, where did I get the plant stand, the pretty white plant stand? I ordered it off of Amazon, and I did share the link to wherever, to that particular one, if you are interested in it. And it's easy. You don't have to assemble it. It came all together. You just have to unfold it and pop the shelves down, and they fit in these little holes on the sides. And then it's good. It's got like a distressed look to it. I really like it. It's full now, so now I got to find somewhere to put some newer plants that I've gotten. But I really do like it. And Rebecca said, you have a green thumb. No, I don't, Rebecca. I'm just doing better. When I worked, planting things was great, but if I would forget to water it, I wasn't fertilizing. I was tired. I just didn't do all those things. Now I'm trying to do it right. I'm trying to plant things in the proper soil. Like I've got some succulents that I just bought over the weekend, and I've got cactus soil, and I'm just trying to do the right thing, put the right soil, the right fertilizer. So I'm learning. So far everything's turning out really well, so hopefully it'll continue through this season. Let's see. The next video, and the pet part of that, I was telling y'all about Lucy and Thunder's going to Camp Bow Wow, which they really like. They go once a week, and they really like it. The next video was the butter and garlic chicken with spinach and bacon. That was a recipe Matt wanted me to try. It was one that the weight loss plan he's on suggested. And Jean and Mary and Kathy and Vicki and Linda and a lot of people, I think Jean and Mary had asked this. My metal spoon, please use a wooden spoon. I didn't realize, I guess I thought when I was cooking, when I was growing up, my grandmother, she had one big spoon, one big silver spoon, and she used it for everything. And, when you're doing videos, you miss things, you forget to do certain things, but you're trying to make everything presentable at least. So I do apologize for the spoon, the loud spoon, but, nobody's perfect, so. Anyway, now this one, Kathy, Vicki, and Linda, I think, asked, are you still sharing meals with Mama? Yes, I do. Like last week I took, was it last week or the week before? I took meatloaf and some rice and vegetables over there. So yeah, I do. And my other sisters do too. I've got one that usually goes over on Sundays and takes food. And another sister that she usually goes on Fridays. So we all chip in for that. Okay, then let's see. Ginger said she made that recipe and loved it. She had it over rice, but she forgot the bacon, but it was still good. Okay, so the next video was the Red Lobster honey butter biscuits. Wanda asked, have I retired? Yes, Wanda, I retired last year. And then Rhonda, that was Wanda, Rhonda asked, what about the seasoning pack? I didn't put it in there. Well, since I was taking those biscuits to Mama's that morning, I just mixed up the batter, and I had the butter and the seasoning pack in a baggie. And I melted the butter and the seasoning when the biscuits were done, and then we just kind of drizzled that over the top. So that was that. And then let's see. Kim said that she made sausage balls with the Cheddar Bay biscuits from Red Lobster, and they were delicious. That's a thought. Take that. I've got a box of the Cheddar Bay ones in the house, and just add a little sausage to it would be pretty good. All right. Moving on to the next video. Let's see. Now, I'm not doing every single video, but we're touching on some of them. The Dillard House and Antiquing. That was when me and Matt went down to Georgia for a little pre-Valentine's Day lunch and a little shopping thing. Terry wanted to know, have you ever visited Helen, Georgia? They filmed a Hallmark movie there. Matt and I did go to Helen, Georgia, but it's been years and years ago. But yeah, we were talking about that. We need to go back there because I appreciate things more now that I've learned about more things. So I'd like to go back there and just kind of go into their shops and things like that. And then Julie wanted to know, what could Matt eat when we were at the Dillard House? Well, he's off of his dieting. He's not dieting anymore. He's just maintaining, and he just watches portions. You know, he tries not to load down a lot of carbs or sugars. But yeah, he can have, you know, a little bit of food here and there. And they did give us, you can take the leftovers home. So if you run out of like the ribs, they would bring us, we'd ask for more ribs. And if there was some left, the waiter asked us, would you like to-go boxes? I'm like, yeah. And that's the one time Matt ordered the dessert. It was apple brown Betty or something. And I told him no, because I didn't know we could take it home. But boy, if I'd have known that, I would have definitely gotten that apple brown Betty to take home. Okay, and let's see. Juanita asked, and that's Juanita with a W, tell Matt not to lose any more weight. Well, he's not. He's staying right at where he wants to be. So no worries there. And Jerry said her grandson goes to school at the big hill, the area I was telling y'all about where we came in that time and it was snowing. There was this big hill up on the left, and all the kids and people in the town were sliding down that big hill. So Jerry's grandson goes to school there, and it's called Raven Gap Nakuchi School. That's what she wrote. I hope I said that right. Carolyn wrote, was Matt a Marine? And Carolyn, yes, he was a Marine. It's like I say, and Matt will tell you, once a Marine, always a Marine. Cheryl wrote, you can turn the sound off and do a voiceover. When I was in the antique shop, and I videoed everything, but I couldn't show it because they were all playing music. I don't know how to, I know how to turn the sound off, but I don't know how to do a voiceover. So maybe someone can enlighten me on that, because that would have worked okay. Let's see. Let's see, I can't read what I wrote there, but Marty, Stella, Sue, and Loretta, and others, I'm just writing a few, all made the comment that they loved the hat I was wearing that day. Well, thank you very much. I love hats. Debbie wrote, love the cups. We had picked up, I got the little aluminum cups from the little antique shop. And Kathleen wrote that she loves the wagon wheels. She has 4. Luckily, 3 were given to her because they are expensive. And I had seen a couple of big wagon wheels in a couple of those shops, and they were like $200 and something, $400. It was ridiculous. And then Gladys wrote, loved Matt's poster. I picked up that Marine poster of all the different uniforms over the years. And I did order a frame, and he took it to work with him yesterday, so he should have it hanging up on his wall. So, let's see. Cindy wrote, I mentioned in the video that we were passing a building that had an orange horse. It was called the Orange Horse Store in Westminster. And Cindy wrote, she said that she had just shopped there the day before, and you can find great bargains there. So we'll have to check that out next time we go. Okay, the next video is crock pot rice pudding. Judy wanted to know how it turned out. It was delicious. Julianne wrote, okay, she was asking for the results. I did forget to put the results on there, but I did show what it looked like at the end of that Red Lobster honey butter biscuit recipe video that morning. I had a container for Mom and I showed that. It was good. It really was good. You need a bigger crock pot than I did. I had a little spillage because it was so full, but it was really good. And Celia wrote that she'd like to see it made in the oven. I have made a recipe of the rice pudding before in the oven. It's just what my grandmother made. You don't have measurements, so I don't know how I would do it. Oh, they see a cat. Now Lucy's barking. Y'all never hear Lucy barking. So I'll have to do that again one day. Cat's running away. Okay, so the next video was the Belgian chocolate cake. And Joanne wrote, I need to learn more about my phone. No one else has problems pausing their phone. Well, Joanne, I had another phone previous to this when I switched to the iPhone. I could pause that other phone. This phone doesn't give you the option to pause. I mean, because there's nothing I can do down there other than start this video and stop this video. Now, I think there's an app you can download, but I don't know anything about those apps. But if I could pause it, I really would. Like I say, I'm not a very tech savvy person. So I do try to put a second video. And even if I paused it, if I start making something in the early part of the day, if I left my phone sitting there on pause, my battery would be dead by the time it came around to unpausing it and finishing the video. So I'm just kind of doing the best I have with, with what I know how to do right now. And sorry for any inconvenience that might cause. Wilma said, great looking eggs. I used eggs in that Belgian chocolate cake video, and they're our eggs, and they are good eggs. What kind of chickens? I might be saying this wrong. I know Matt says we have Easter egg layers and astrolop something like that. So yeah, those are the kinds, and we've got 6 more eggs coming this year. I mean, not eggs, 6 more chicks coming this year. So they'll be here in a couple months. Let's see. Rebecca, Mary both mentioned the Jergens lotion. I talked a little bit about the smell of the almond in the Belgian chocolate cake, smelling like German Jergens lotion. And guess what, y'all? This past weekend, I bought me a thing of Jergens lotions. Bottle's not near as as it was when I was a kid. It was a glass bottle with this little fancy shape. Now it's just plastic, But I got me some, so I love the smell of that stuff. And then Brenda mentioned about the chocolate cake that she thinks it would be good would be delicious with sliced strawberries and powdered sugar. I agree, it would be so good. And then Jean wanted to know what kind of steak that I made that night. It was our little actual Valentine night supper. Those were ribeyes, and I can't remember what I made, but did I make asparagus with that? And then Matt had the Belgian chocolate cake. I cut it in tiny little slices so he could have a little bit. Very chocolatey. Okay, the next video was the chicken divan. That was from when I was doing my favorites. And Anne wanted to know, did I use frozen broccoli? Yes, I did. You can use fresh, you can use frozen. And then Sherry and Dorothy both wanted to know how long to bake it and at what temp. Again, 350 is what I do, 30 to 45 minutes. Everything in there is cooked except unless you get raw broccoli. So you just really want to heat everything through. So that was that. And then Peg wrote about the chicken divan. She wrote, in the middle 50s, her Girl Scout troop went to the gas company in Tiffin. I'm not sure where Tiffin is. And the home ec lady taught them how to make the chicken divan. So that's neat. So that recipe's been around a long time. I got it in the 80s. So it's a good one. All right, and Linda wrote, did I use a whole chicken or was it chicken breast? Linda, I usually just will put some chicken breast or mixture of chicken breast, chicken thighs, whatever I have, and I'll usually put them in the crock pot, or I'll just cook them that way. Or you can just bake it, or however you want to do it. But yeah, I use chicken breast. And Kathleen wrote, she puts a layer of rice on the bottom of her casserole and sometimes adds French's onions to the top. So I bet that would be good too. Another video from my favorite series was the meatloaf video. And Bonita asked, she said, I thought meatloaf was supposed to be in the shape of a loaf. Well, technically, I guess it is, but I started doing mine a little bit flatter in a casserole so it would cook faster, because whenever I cook it in a loaf, it took forever to cook. So that's just me. But yeah, you can do it in a loaf. And Joyce questioned, no onions? This was the Pioneer Woman's my favorite meatloaf recipe, and I really like it. It doesn't call for onions. I was just following her recipe, and I've made it several times. So if you like onions, put some onions in there. Loretta wanted to know, if I was a retired school teacher, you just looked like you were a teacher. No, I would have been good at it, I think, but no. I worked in a medical office. Let's see, Judy says, do we have children? We do, Judy. We try to keep that kind of private. Matt and I were both married previously. I had 2 children. My son lives up north. My daughter passed away. And Matt has some children. And so we just try to keep that part private. So yeah, so that was that. Donna wanted to know, was telling me when I was making the meatloaf, take your rings off. I forgot, I'm sorry, but I was committed once I started mixing up the meatloaf. I should have taken them off, but anyway, we were just eating it. So, and then Rose wrote, how do you keep meatloaf from sitting in the rendered fat? Well, we order our meat from Butcher Box, and you can get different lean cuts of meat. So, you know, you might want to get like a 90-10 or something like that. You just want to get one that doesn't have a lot of fat in it. But if you do buy the other that has a lot of fat, you can set it up on a rack, or some people were suggesting putting bread underneath it. But yeah. And then Nancy wrote, it needs onions and peppers. Here again, just whatever you like, add it to it. And then Tanya, she posted a picture of her puppy, and her name is, I think is it Bella Baby or Belle Baby? And it was a cute picture. So thank you, Tanya. And then that meatloaf, you bake at 350 till it's done. Depends on the oven again. You just want your meat to be done. Mine cooks different than my mother's, because I partially cooked it at my house, and when I took it to her house, I think I might have even overcooked it a little bit. Her oven cooks faster and hotter, I think, than mine. And then Allison asked, does the cheese make it extra greasy? That recipe calls for a little bit of, I can't think of the cheese. Not mozzarella. I think I might have had some mozzarella in it, but Parmesan, I think. No, I don't notice that it's any extra grease there. Okay, then the next video was easy pantry spaghetti sauce. Mary Louise suggested that I buy tomato paste in a tube. It works great. I've heard of that and seen it, but I just never think about it. So what I did was I just put the leftover tomato paste on a plate and just put little plops of it, stuck it in the freezer till it froze, took it out, plopped those in a freezer bag, and it works well too. But yeah, the tube would be good too. And Linda wrote that she grows her own basil and oregano. She grows her own garlic and tomatoes and makes tomato sauce for the freezer. I bet that's good too. Donna wrote, try making sauce with ground sweet Italian sausage. I have made spaghetti sauce with Italian sausage before. It is good. And Rosemary wrote, Southern Italians add a teaspoon of sugar to their sauce. I've never done that. I guess it would cut the acidity or something. So y'all, I love, whenever I see that episode of Andy Griffith where he I think Aunt B makes spaghetti, and then he goes to Helen's and she's made spaghetti, and I think he might end up at a diner and they have spaghetti. And every time I see that, I gotta have spaghetti. It's like that with the dill pickle episode as well. I love those shows. Okay, so next video is the Italian rice and the Normandy vegetables. Renee asked what temp to roast the vegetables. Here again, I'll do 350. I like my vegetables to get a little bit of a crisp to them, so sometimes I'll even toward the end bump it up to 400. But they're frozen vegetables is what I use, so it doesn't take that long. It's just on how you like your vegetables. Shirley, how do I get the recipes? Well, I don't have a website, so I would just suggest get a pad and pencil and just kind of jot the ingredients down as I'm doing it. I just do things the old-fashioned way. And Sharon wrote, how long do you cook the rice? The Italian rice, again, 350. You can do it in the microwave. I've done it there. You just cook that long enough for your the liquid to absorb into your rice. And in the oven, 350, just, stir it and make sure that liquid's absorbed. Carol wrote, Matt looks great with his weight loss. Yes, he does. Bonnie, Jennifer, and Sharon wrote, what kind of rice? I was using long grain rice. And Rebecca wrote, Matt did a great job filling in for me when I stepped away to get those little Valentine gifts to show y'all. Thank you, Rebecca. And Janine asked, why did I take to-go plates? Doesn't Mama have dishes? She does. So that my sister was going to be there and Mama was going to be there. And I wanted to be able to make a few little TV dinners to leave at Mama's so she wouldn't have to wash dishes. She could just, if she wanted to save those disposable things, she could, or she could just eat them, freeze one. And then so in case my sister wanted to take some home too. So that's why I took the to-go plates. The next video was outdoors with Matt, and Cindy says, it's nice to see a couple that gets along so well. Well, thank you, Cindy. And then Wilma asked, do we always get along that well? Pretty much, for the most part. Matt's really easygoing, and we don't really have big fights. The most we fight, I guess, is when we get outside and he wants to do something one way and I make my suggestions. But yeah, we just don't really have any major issues. And then I think it's pronounced Mau, M-A-U. She said that Callie is such a sweet kitty. She was out in the yard that day when Matt was doing his fruit trees. Let's see. Carol, let's see, Mal and Carol had said that. And Catherine about Callie. They all thought Callie was sweet. Roxanne said she likes the idea of the rings. Those were the rings around the trees. He took the trees, he took the trees out of the rings and just set them on the ground, put the rings back over them and filled with dirt. So that's what that video was about. And Allie asked, is there a bottom to those rings? There is not. So they're patio trees, so they're really above ground. And so they can grow, their roots can grow down into the ground if, now, as opposed to being in those pots that they were in. Let's see. Jean wrote, love your little ladies. I'm sure she's talking about the chickens. And love to hear the chatter. Takes me back to my childhood. Yeah, I've got to go out there and check their egg production today. Yesterday I got 6 eggs. I hope I'm not dark on this because I think my video has gone dark on me. Okay, Cheryl said Matt needs to share with us his diet. Well, it's the PhD weight loss program. But he's just on maintenance now. He's doing it all on his own. Martha says, are you going to give them water and Miracle Grow? Yes, he watered them, and he did buy another hose pipe to run down there because they're kind of far. And we looked for fruit tree fertilizer, but then we couldn't find anything, so he Googled it and found something. So I think 10-10-10 is what he said we would put on it, but I'm not sure about that. Renee said, just a suggestion, alpaca poo is the best fertilizer in the world. I've never seen alpaca poo, and I don't know anybody around here that has alpacas. But Matt was up on the alpaca game a few years ago. He came to me and said something about alpacas. I said, a what? And he had to show me what an alpaca was. So He probably would know that. Francis wishes us a nice day from Griffithsville, West Virginia. Well, you have a nice day too, Francis. I hope you see this. And LP wrote, where did you get the rings and are they expensive? Matt got the rings at Tractor Supply. I think they were $60-something. I think there's one on Amazon that's $60-something. If you go to Home Depot, they're over $100 for the same ring. So depends on where you get them. And Mary wants to know, Matt, where are your gloves? He didn't wear any gloves that day, so I have to have gloves on most of the time because as I've gotten older, I break out in every little thing that touches me. So yeah, I like to have gloves on. Plus, it's hard to get that darkness out of your nails. So anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed this. I hope it answered some questions. And if y'all like this idea, maybe I'll do it. I don't know if I'll do it every month, but I might try to see if I can do it and just kind of answer your questions. So thank you so much for watching. I hope y'all are having great weather like this. It is just gorgeous out here. We've got a lot of yard work to do though. We got to get the back porch cleaned off and all that stuff, but I don't want to do it just yet because I'm sure winter is not over. All right, thank y'all so much for watching and have a great day. Bye everybody.